because I need it to.
Jerry's gone. Oh, there he is.
Sorry,
there's Jerry.
Sorry, quick adjustment.
Quick adjust. Well, and with that, on this festivities-laden evening, I want to welcome everybody to Crashing Game Night. My name is Matt Diorio, your host. As always, we are joined by the beanied one, Gerard Barrera.
Hello, all my nerds. Hello. Thank you for joining. What's up? How's it going? It's a good day.
Up in that corner, hanging out with his island folks, celebrating his birthday on his island on his birthday, the babyface one, Theo Wolski.
What is up, everybody?
Happy birthday!
And then the man with the couch to the lion's mane, Jason Valerio.
Jay Bone.
How's it going, guys? How's it going tonight? Today is not actually good day, like good day. That's in January, but it's okay. It is still a good day. Still is a good day.
So there's a little bit to talk about tonight. We were supposed to have Mo and Reality Pales on. Mo is over on his channel streaming live right now because playing Final Fantasy because he forgot all about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully having fun over there, Mo.
Mo's at a good spot right now in Final Fantasy. So
yeah, he's playing through FF16 right now.
Yeah, he
Cool.
wants to get through to Disc 2 on 7 right now. So let him do his thing.
No, he's doing 6. He's doing a run on 16. He's not doing 7.
No, he's got 7 on right now, I think.
He's got 7 on right now?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he has been doing a run on 16. So anyways, and I totally forgot to send Theo some presents too that he asked me for.
I like presentes.
He needs a couple of registers and some food display cases.
Oh, nice.
Even though I can't modify my island yet.
Yeah, but you can still use them for whatever. You probably just can't leave your island to go get them modified.
No, cannot.
Because you don't have Horizon Island unlocked. So, but no, there is some really, really good things to talk about tonight. Outside of the demise of Jim Ryan at Sony, which we'll get into that in a little bit greater details and what we think that means for PlayStation. But first, one of 2 strikes is now over. The writers are heading back to the writing room.
They've already started.
Yeah.
The studios have finally realized that they are losing way more money without even having talk shows up and running.
Yeah.
And they kind of need the writers to do that.
Yeah.
Now they got some very kind of favorable terms, to be honest. And I'm glad that the writers were able to get this. What I'm sharing is going to be directly from WGA contract 2023.org, which is their official website that they've been using this for. So this is going to be right off of their side. So their website. So right in here, you can see this talks about the campaign and everything. So these terms will go all the way through May 1st of 2026. Their increases, they will get a 5% raise on ratification of the contract, 4% on May 2nd, and 3.5% on May 2nd of 2025. They said some minimums and rates increase less, mostly by 3% each year. I think it's going to be based on what they actually do from a writing perspective, probably.
Probably the position and the level.
Yeah. And then they are going to get increased health and pension contribution rates, which is fantastic for them. Because I know with the actors, right, unless they hit certain minimums, they have to pay all of their health insurance. So, So they are going to be getting, increased contributions specifically. AI. So this is the big one. This is the biggest one here is in this agreement, AI cannot write or rewrite literary material An AI generated material will not be considered source material under this agreement, meaning AI generated material cannot be used to undermine a writer's credit or separated rights, which is huge.
Good.
Also, a writer can choose to use AI when performing writing services if the company consents and provided the writer follows applicable company policies, but the company can't require the writer to use AI, right? So
that's good.
The writer can choose to use it as long as the company agrees to it. But the company cannot require them to use AI to write the script.
That's good.
Okay.
I think that's fair for both sides.
Cool.
Because that way you're not like, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to start being a writer, but I'm just going to rely on AI to do my job for me.
Yeah.
So then we've got the improved terms of screenwriter employment. So guaranteed second step. So they are required. Second step is required whenever a writer is hired for a first draft screenplay for 200% of minimum or less. It also applies to special purchases, accelerated payment structures for flat deals.
Okay.
Streaming features. When a feature length project is made for streaming with a budget of 30 million or more, the minimum initial compensation for a story or teleplay is $100K. That's an 18% increase over what is paid now. And they will get a 26% increase in the residual base.
Nice.
So they are going to get residuals.
Good.
And then combined with a foreign residual, they're going to get a lot more out of it.
Cool.
High budget subscription video on demand. So basically Netflix, Disney Plus, all those increased streaming residuals.
Okay.
It's going to look like it's going to include a 2.5% base increase plus a 76% increase to foreign residuals.
Specifically to the writers or to
this is to the writers.
The companies.
So this is for the writers.
Hired the writers. Oh, okay.
Oh, this is the companies are going to have to pay this out. So for instance, they have an example here. For instance, Netflix's 3-year foreign residual will increase from the current $18,684 for a 1-hour episode to $32K.
Sick.
Viewership.
But that's what I'm still confused about, like with Netflix. So like if is it a Netflix original show that the writer is writing for, or is it some like show that was not originally owned by Netflix it's streaming?
I'm thinking directly, this is directly involved with Netflix originals. Because I'm guessing this is all based on like once they're hired, they've done the work. So I'm guessing it's all originals through Netflix because all the other shows are licensed.
Yeah.
And so that's a different beast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe your hypothesis is correct. It's
and then you've got viewership based streaming bonus, which is something that has not been included so far.
Oh, really?
Yep. So the Guild negotiated a new residual based on viewership. So made for streaming series and films that are viewed by 20% or more of the service's domestic subscribers in the first 90 days or in the first 90 days of any subsequent exhibition, get a bonus equal to 50% of the fixed domestic and foreign residuals.
Wow. Dude, that's really good. So say when something like premieres and obviously that huge bump
or something viral like Squid Games or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they're all that huge bump. Like if they're popular for like 6 months, they're all gonna. That's so great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That way you really get like something extra for you. Definitely was like, dude, you made something really awesome. Here you go.
Or dude, something that just like got resurgence. Like remember when Brendan Fraser's movies were everywhere in Netflix because he was having his great Oscar year. Everyone involved with those movies. Yeah, I mean, just as an example, they would be getting residuals for them getting like all those views resurging. Like,
but you wouldn't get a bonus for the resurgence because it says it's the first 90 days of release.
Okay, sorry. Okay, never mind then.
Now that being said, though, they're also going to get the companies agreed to provide the Guild, based on confidentiality agreements, NDAs, and all that, the total number of hours streamed. For all that, so there's going to be better transparency on the data. Premium for pilot and backup scripts, so 150% pilot premium, 115% backup script premiums will now be applied to the programs. So So this kind of just goes over some of the weekly increases. So now up to 9 weeks, they're going to make, 11,371. So, it goes in a lot of their fee increases, which is going to be great. How many minimum, they're now going to be more, how many writers and producers are now in the room. Improved options, exclusivity, and spam protections. So this is huge for the writers.
Yeah, definitely.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the actors, right? When that's all said and done. But I think this is huge. I think this bodes well for the actors, because unfortunately you're not going to be able to just live off of just made for TV. I mean, talk shows, right? You're going to need, as a studio, you're going to need those shows, right? Because especially in those shows,
they're going to need to start back up soon.
Well, yeah, you look at advertising, right? It is, you've got all of that. You've got just you got advertising, product placement, right? Because we know how many movies actually have like a Pepsi in them, or Coors, or a car. You've got all those different things that they get paid money to put those into shows, right? So you're not making any of that money as well. You don't get the viewership numbers.
All of that is money circulating, and that's
correct.
All of that is money that's not happening right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So with that, I think that bodes well for the actors, though. I think it's going to be a matter of time now on where the actors go. True. Now the bigger question is going to be is, do we see a video game studio strike before we see the Hollywood actors strike end?
Yes.
Or do we think video game?
I think it's before.
Do you think video game studios go ahead and say, you know what, we needed to get this done and work?
I think it needs to happen before.
Why would the video game studio strike?
There's lots of things workers? There's lots of things that you could do. Lots of positions. You could do. Artists could go on strike because AI. We've seen tons of AI developed artists and stuff. But still, the game industry in general needs to be starting the conversation with this stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that you can still have AI do instead of just for voice acting or being able to do something. Like, you can eliminate a team full of artists with AI just by having somebody type in what they want generated.
I was also thinking maybe you were talking about like even the developers, because we've spoken about crunch
developers too. Yeah.
I don't know about how many times, and I would not be surprised if we heard like of a union or even them to strike for, better hours, better, especially better timelines, like more realistic timelines for
release dates. Well, not even with that, but matter of number of positions, because there's been so much talk about developers utilizing AI in order to generate good code. Like, you may still need a developer, but you won't need as many for that.
Right.
Or a team, like Theo said, like you can have like maybe 3 artists in the entire game, and all of them are going to rely on either AI or using
like here, scan my work,
you still need that creativity aspect from the human side, but you can just relay that to AI and just
let me kind of rephrase a little bit more. Do we see
good mention?
Do we see the voiceover actors striking first before the
I feel like they should. I feel like they should jump on the bandwagon in order to get some of the same stuff, because I feel like they lose some fighting power if they were to wait for SAG-AFTRA to finish.
I agree. If not, they start like while the strike is going to. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear it soon as well. Like, I don't know what they're waiting for.
Yeah, the voice actors definitely need to go through first. Before the developers, before all the major companies. I mean, we've already seen a few of those like discrepancies. I mean, I'm obviously the biggest one that comes into mind is Jennifer Hale and oh my god, I forget her name. Bayonetta 3.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the original voice actress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what is her name?
But
But
you
yeah,
call yourself a Bayonetta fan.
I know, right? Like when I need it right now, I'm just like, well, it's gone.
Yeah.
But since oh, go ahead, Jason.
No,
I'll go
I
after
was
you.
saying, but since like we had that go through already, like these companies are already making a lot from the voice actors and the actresses. And
Oh, yeah.
like again, you're like having Charles drop out from Mario would be,
Yeah,
would
and
be-
we
it
don't
would
know.
hurt.
I mean, and we don't know if that was to also him going to Nintendo saying, "Hey, I'm kind of done." We don't know that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
but I mean, like that's
And
just like
also
the thing
let's
where-
also think that or realize that this is the gaming industry and as a whole, all of it is a different. It's a different game altogether, or sport altogether, to where where does it end for like residuals, streaming, who gets paid
Mhm.
what, compared to like a game that you buy once, as opposed to a movie that we would watch maybe a number of times, or a show that we would watch a number of times. So
But I mean, like it's
that's
like
why
having.
I still agree. I think they need to get the ball rolling now.
But again, it's like
let me
having-
let
Go
me
ahead.
offer you get this to think about. So if they don't get onto it in advance and try to beat things, a major thing that they should try to beat, especially with AI, is that there can be a time where companies start thinking outside the box in order to replace voice actors. So you have companies, so let's just say level 1 support, their phone calls are recorded. They can adjust contracts to where that those recordings can be sold and can be sampled, and you can have AI generate scripts using those voices, and you can manipulate the voices, so you don't even need voice actors anymore.
Wow.
And this is why things need to be happening now.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
AI
I mean,
is. Even Congress says, "Hey, AI is in a very dangerous place right now because of how fast it's accelerating,
Mhm.
and there's no shackles on it."
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, because one, the first and foremost, what Dio was just saying as an example is like when we call into wherever it may be, what do we get first? The voice operated message system.
For quality
press,
assurance.
press 1 for blah blah blah. Press 2, and already that is recorded, and that has been gone through how many millions of times that you call every single time. It's the same thing. You can have that AI which will help direct it, but I mean that could have been a person as well.
Exactly.
Because I used to work in a PBX office where I would designate the calls to where they need to go. That
Right.
could have been my job
Mhm.
previously, but instead now you have a robot or AI just instantly like, okay, boom, sends it right away, and then I'm out of a job now. But
Mhm.
2,
Well, and that's currently happening in call centers right now.
Yeah.
like
It's also happening with Google's AI assistant.
Yeah.
They displayed that, they demoed it live with AI making a phone call to a real person to make a haircut appointment for the person that asked for it.
dude, I got called the other day. I don't remember what it was for, and it literally sounded like a real person,
Yeah,
like
it's crazy.
Yeah.
legitly. And then it was like,
Helen
Because
and
they
Taylor.
even-
Oh my god,
they
okay,
even
Helen,
make it
sorry.
very like natural to like, oh hey dude, what's up? Let's go. What's going on? Type of deal, or like, what you
No,
doing?
"What's this so and so calling from?"
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So and
Yeah,
and then
that's insane.
to the same
It's
point,
insane.
while we're getting back
It's kinda-
onto the voice
it's kinda-
actors and actresses, I mean,
Mhm.
like when we have multiple series of a game, we kind of expect to hear that same person, and having Nolan North do Drake every year would be different if you have him on one and not on another. It would be completely weird. Like you wouldn't think of it and be like, wait a second.
But
I mean,
AI gives you Nolan North
aesthetically
forever.
yeah, it would essentially hurt the game.
Exactly, and that's why,
especially when
that's why
especially if
actors
you
need to
know
jump
it's
on
popular,
this.
you know it's sold millions of copies. So okay, so this was popular. Oh no, find another actor. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so
it
now that
does.
you bring that
It
up,
does matter.
do you feel like that is a point in the pro column for AI? Because like we could still have, why am I forgetting his name? The gentleman Zavala that just died, the actor who was on John Wick.
Oh,
Why can't I think of his name?
was it Trevor? Is his name Trevor?
No.
Okay, we're
Lance
forgetting
Reddick.
a lot today.
We need
Lance
Reddick.
Lance Reddick.
Lance Reddick.
Thank you. So would you say like if AI was available and Lance Reddick's voice could be continued
See, this
for
is another
future
question.
games, is that a pro or is that an absolute end? Because like one, you can't negotiate him to continue to get residuals unless you can transfer it to subsidiaries or family members or whatever.
That's what I would hope to be happening.
But those are things that need to be talked about and thought of in order to have these kinds of contracts. If you're going to allow one to solidify and protect your job to make sure that you keep getting it, but also if you're kind of agreeing to sell your presence or your voice or your look or anything like that, that's things that need to be talked about now before it gets too late and it already happens to somebody and then everybody's enraged.
Yeah. Or loopholes are created.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So real quick, I think it's going to be kind of like
that was the one I told you guys about. Yeah, the first one of the recent season.
I think it's going to be.
You did tell me about that.
I think it'll be a Carrie Fisher paradox, right? Where we want her back, right? But how do we do it while respecting the family, and those sorts of things.
So, I mean, we had the thing with Paul Walker, like that was a nice thing, but it wasn't necessarily AI, but it still involved the family.
That's where I have a problem with. That's where I have a problem with film. Okay, like I remember back in the I remember back in the 80s or even the 90s, like they recasted or they found like an unknown actor that looked like the actor,
the body double.
Just the body double. I almost feel like we need to go back to those days because the CGI and the smoothing, as good as it can look at times, I just like
it does look good. Like
there are
Harrison Ford in the recent Indiana Jones.
That one was impressive.
That was impressive.
Yeah, that was very impressive. But what I will say is, I kind of just recast or put a real person in there. Like it's just I don't know. I guess maybe that's where I'm a little old school now. Like I'm still a fan of practical prosthetics and stuff like that more than CGI. I think CGI should still be used as a tool, but like last resort.
Okay.
But that's not always
so that brings up another question. So like how do you end up negotiating a way, not this needs to be answered, but I just mean like this is a question that should be proposed. It's like how do you protect the actor, but also how do you get companies to allow that to happen, to where like if you're wanting to try, like me as a company, I'm going to be like, okay, I have this prime actor, I want him forever in this series that I want to last for 20 years, but I don't want him to age. I want Harry Potter to stay freaking 12 years old for another 12 years or something.
I want Daniel Radcliffe's likeness for the next 12 years,
exactly.
the next decade.
So it comes to being able to negotiate, like, are we selling likeness or are we only protecting jobs?
Well, that's
or
kind of
like
like
trying to do both. And that's really difficult. What do you mean by college?
So college players right now, name and likeness, NIL. So right up until the last 2 years, give or take. Okay.
This has been going on for years. But
this has been going on for years at the collegiate level. Yeah. So NCAA football, what brought the downfall of that franchise for EA was because they were using models in the game that looked exactly like the player. So like Vince Young.
It was so pointless buying that game because like college ball is pretty much as big as professional ball. But when
Yeah.
every time
Yeah.
when you buy that game, it's
It
always
meant-
player 1, player 2. They never have the players' names because
but they use their number
yep,
and
Okay.
models that looked exactly like them. So
All
it was
of their
name
stats.
and likeness.
yeah,
Um,
everything.
Everything. And the
I
players,
feel like
hold
that.
on, no.
I feel like that's a little bit of so I'm just going to put it
No.
out there. I'm just going to put it out there. There's a little bit of stretch. If because I haven't played the games, I'm assuming that you don't necessarily see faces. Bodies, body likeness
Oh.
is a difference.
No,
Body
you see
likeness is a
faces.
huge difference.
You also
Okay.
see face.
If you
saw
see
faces.
faces, then I'll understand. But if
Because-
it was purely
because
bodies,
it's
that's
just-
a little bit of a
it's-
stretch.
It's a
wasn't
full-fledged sports
just-
game, so like it's just like Madden. So you can go through your roster, like number 56. You know who that is on Penn
And
State, but
let's
it
go
just
one step
says
further.
player 22 or player
March
56.
March Madness, their NCAA basketball game. So you
Okay.
saw the players completely, and they looked pretty darn close to the players that were actually in college.
No,
And
no,
the
Okay.
thing is the players in college did not have the ability to say, "Hey, I want money for that,"
no.
because if they
Right.
did, that voided their amateur status to be able to play. So I think it's the same type of thing. Is like,
So
yeah.
so no
So,
one's telling that
I think-
company like, no, you can't do that. You need to pay them their
Correct.
licenses. Those are
But-
their likenesses.
But they have the opportunity to say, well, there's nothing saying
Now
that
they
I
do.
can't do that.
Oh, now it's
now,
very much
now it's being addressed.
It's
Yeah.
huge money. Like it's huge money.
Yeah.
There was
I mean,
what's
think
her
of it.
face?
That game has been going on for years, decades.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And none of it has gone to any of the players.
Like-
Where is all that money gone?
And now this past year, I don't remember the shooting guard's name that played for Iowa, that went up against LSU in the women's national championship, but she made like $4 million in NIL money this past year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's how much it's worth. So I think
Yeah.
if you want to go to the concept, before we move on to our other big topic, right, is if you want to look at the topic of that likeness rights, right, for actors, if the actor does want to make an agreement with a studio that says, "Hey, I am okay with you using my voice in AI and my face, but here's my stipulations. Here's how much money you have to pay me for every copy that's sold, every advertising." If that's built in and that's
that
the
in
actor's
turn,
choice,
that's
then
the
we
thing.
need to let them.
Because that's a completely different negotiation.
But I want to expand on that.
Yeah, I think that's where I think I'm going with Theo is they're gonna have to figure out a way to like have a profile system that they kind of like sell themselves with. So now they're kind of gonna have to have like a player card or like a profile to like show them everything that their quote. Yeah, kind of like a headshot, but showing their going rate, how long they're willing to let their likeness go, stuff like that. All of that has to be established because all of those singular entities
So
can
that,
find
that wasn't
loopholes somehow.
quite where I wanted to expand. I
Okay.
want to expand on from the company side. How long do I get to have it? How many shows do I get to use it for?
See,
like-
all of that needs to be negotiated on the rates with the actor. So all of that has
But
to
does
be
it have
established.
to be
I think.
within the actor? With the
It's
particularly
there.
the
See,
actor?
that's why it has to be established as a profile or like a character
Correct.
type of thing, because that's how they can sell it and keep it as theirs and license it.
But I feel like it shouldn't necessarily be solely with the actor. I feel like there should be regulations with the companies in order to do that type of stuff. Because you could have the one actor that be like, oh yeah, as long as you give me like certain residuals, you can use me forever. And
Oh, no,
if,
I
and if
totally think
there's,
there
if
should
there's
be
too many
regulations
actors
and-
that do
yeah.
that, you're gonna have the same set of actors in
Oh, and
every
they're never gonna
computer
work.
generated show.
Yeah, and they're never
Every
going to have
single
to work,
one of them.
ever. Right.
So you know
no,
who-
no,
you know
no.
who's-
I totally but within the parameters of that. I think that should also be negotiated within the terms of their agreement of how long they can use their likeness. All of that,
but that's
has
why
to be
that's
established.
why
That's why this
but that's
is a
why I say it
whole
shouldn't be solely
huge
with the actor. It should be regulations set on the company too. That it
Oh, yeah.
should not necessarily
Oh,
allow.
absolutely,
like-
because
like,
what would
I
stop the
trust
actors?
actors are really
Mhm.
good and everything, but everybody is succumbs to money, and I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be,
what would
I
stop
would be
the
greedy
actors?
as
Like,
hell,
dude,
and like if
you
you're
want
gonna
me?
pay me for doing
Yeah,
nothing,
you want me for 20 years? Go
you
ahead.
just want my face?
How much?
Go
So-
for it.
Yeah.
You know who's not going to be working anymore?
Who?
I'm going to use that right there as a segue.
Oh Jesus! Oh my
Wow.
God!
Come March of
There goes his
2024,
likeness.
Jim Ryan will no longer be
Oh, yeah.
with PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I had to screenshot this.
That's a good
it's one
point.
of those
You know,
things.
we'll never see this ever again. Anybody leaving a
Right?
company, if he sells his likeness, we have Jim Ryan forever.
Oh God, help us. Help us now. So I screenshotted this because I wanted to make sure it was, I mean, it got put out there on one of the, business wires. So it was posted by one of the game actual journalists. So I want to grab it before it was, deleted and all that fun stuff. So Sony did put out this announcement last week, on Thursday, that Jim Ryan is going to be retiring from PlayStation in March of 2024 after being with the company for almost 30 years. He joined them when he was over in Europe for Sony Interactive Entertainment Europe as a, and he's kind of moved up his way through the company, right? From president of the European division to head of global sales and marketing, and then deputy president of SIE since 2018. We all know that happened when Sean Layden left. And some of the things were that Sean left because of a power struggle with Jim Ryan, because Sean Layden wanted to keep going in the direction that Sony was going, that the first person, the stories that PlayStation is famous for, right? And keep going with that tradition. Jim Ryan, as we've seen with PlayStation over the last couple of years, is more about the free to play and the games as a service. We see more of those things happening now. Even the fact that we got the advent of Last of Us Factions, which Factions is now, by all the reports, is pretty much on ice. And depending on where things go with Kenichiro Yoshida, who will take over. Kenichiro Yoshida is not taking over. It's Hiroki Totaki will resume the roles. So he's over in Japan. We'll see what happens with it, but it just basically, they're saying, hey, I would like to express my gratitude to Jim's leadership and contributions, blah, blah, blah. The same song and dance we hear from all executive when someone's leaving.
Yeah.
And Jim saying, oh, PlayStation will be a huge part of my life going forward, whatever what happens. So
the ass kissing.
Can I just say, this is a really good thing for PlayStation.
Agreed.
Ding dong, the witch is
because
dead.
there's a couple of things that go into that, right? Is the reason we didn't see a Vita 2 is because of Jim Ryan. He thought the Vita was so terrible.
The reason we see the Portal now
is because of Jim Ryan, right? We should have a Vita 2 instead of a Portal.
That thing just seriously,
especially at that price,
so
right?
much. Like every time I see it, like the moment you get rage, like it looks like you can just bend those controller ends like so easy. I don't know. Yeah. Portal.
So I mean, there's a lot of, like, I think you look at a lot of the decisions that have been made thus far. As I don't think Sony would have acquired Bungie had it not been for Jim Ryan, because he's on that big games as a service kick, and who does games as a service better than Bungie? Well, except for when you
as a free
system, right? I
mean, they're still good as a service, but their servers are failing them.
But we see the direction. We can even agree, right? We look at the games that Sony's putting out right now. Okay, yes, Spider-Man 2 it's going to be a sequel, but it's probably going to be a little bit more of the same, new story and everything like that from Insomniac. We don't know what Naughty Dog's working on outside of remakes. Like this is under Jim Ryan's tenure that we got Last of Us 1 remake.
We barely got news of an original IP from Naughty Dog coming.
And we know,
and that's after the remake of Last of Us 2, and I guess their next game is apparently but apparently it's rumored to be a sequel.
Druckmann has not gone on record and said no, they're not doing a Last of Us Part 3. Like it's been asked, and he hasn't actually, like, he's kind of deflected.
Yeah.
and not really answer the question. So that's where some of that speculation is coming from. But ultimately, I think in the end, this is really good for Sony, because we've talked about this plenty of times. As much as this is a pro PlayStation, pro Nintendo podcast, right? We've definitely given them some flack because of the direction PlayStation is going. Like, they're resting on their laurels. They think that, hey, we've got Uncharted, we've got God
of War, Horizon,
God of War and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We don't need to really push the envelope so much. And yes, to their credit, Xbox hasn't done much. Like, when you look at what I bought an Xbox for, part of it is to play the past Halos, Final Fantasy 13, and Forza coming out, right? It's nothing other than what's in their other first party stable coming, right?
And to their credit, we've given them credit saying that we think that this is the words are hard, guys. Words are hard. Foundation. I was looking for foundation. They're building a foundation to allow them to do more with their games. I feel like they're making steps to have a new foundation rather than continuously trying to build off of the foundation that they started off with, that PlayStation's doing right now.
Agreed. Which I don't. That's the thing. I don't think they've been kind of resting on their not so much resting on their laurels, but I think they've been resting on their franchises, kind of like a studio, just put out a sequel.
They're just setting their ways. They're doing they're releasing the same things.
Thank you. That's more to the point. They're setting their ways where they need to get out of that.
Mm-hmm. They're just going about the same ways that worked, that got them the profits. That is like, okay, we don't need to
fix, you said,
we don't
Matt,
need to fix what ain't broken.
Like you said, Matt, a few years ago in their presentation.
Yeah.
At the highlight of where PlayStation was in the PS4 era, where they were thinking about story, they were thinking about character. That was all their presentation was about. And obviously, hey, this is how we trade games. But that was the thing. That whole presentation, it was about the players, especially even trading the used games. But the biggest thing we heard was like, no, we want to focus on story. We want to focus on the player experience. We want to focus on the characters that you love and create new ones. And they haven't been doing that. You're right. They've been resting on those franchises like, no, we're going to have another sequel, but don't worry, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be great, bigger than the last. Yeah, but
you know what that makes me so,
where's the new stuff?
Just as you were doing that, I was just hoping you would just bust out in a Trump voice, because just the way you were saying that,
it's amazing. Don't worry.
Amazing. Don't worry.
It's the best. It's the sequel. It's bigger. It's bigger. It's better.
PlayStation great again.
We're gonna make it great again.
No,
don't worry.
I'm gonna take over. Like,
yeah,
dude, I saw somebody that
like,
did that had to do like, who was it? Sauron. Talking about Middle Earth, but as Trump. It was funny.
Oh God.
Oh, I sent you that. It was a D&D talk show game. It was on TikTok.
Oh yeah. TikTok. Like, dude, that was hilarious.
Dude, he was going on for a good minute. He was improvising like crazy. He was great.
But I think to your point, right, is, and right now, I think part of them they can and just kind of do what they're doing, but
that's the mentality that they need to get back to.
And
that's the other thing we've been saying about Xbox. They've been slow playing. Like, at first we were like, oh, well, Game Pass sounds interesting. Let's see where it goes. Because they're obviously rolling the dice on it, putting all their chips in it. They're slowly growing. They're getting more momentum. The information leak, that was definitely a huge setback.
Yeah, but
the thing is that they're still staying true to trying to improve, and they're still trying to really to do better. So, like, once again, we'll still see where they're going to go, and hopefully, with this new news with PlayStation, that they're going to change their direction and focus again more on the player, story, character, quality. Please, yeah. That's why
they need to.
They have to. I mean, you can only recycle so many remakes and remasters, and
I mean,
but that's the other thing. Still do though.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Look at God of War. Where they got one more game until like a fourth. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that's a franchise that's almost at its end.
But I think when you look
are
at
they
it,
going
right?
to do a third? Do they need to? You
So
know,
let's
they
look
need
at
to
those
they need to
franchises.
come out with some more stuff.
As much as we love those franchises, let's be honest. Okay. Let's really be honest. God of War, Ragnarok, yeah, it took you to a different story in a different place, but mechanics were still kind of just the same.
Oh, don't care. It was a still
Well,
an
no,
amazing
and
game.
I get that, right? Horizon and
But that's
and
the same thing with
Forbidden
the
West, right?
sequel. Like,
They were-
are you going to completely reinvent
I-
it? You have to add to it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is though, like, but it was still more or less, even though it was a newer, updated story, you still had a lot of the original stuff in it. And I can say that for Uncharted. I can say that for Horizon. I can say that for, a lot of the franchises I'm fans of. And I think when Xbox was at its height, right, that pushed PlayStation to say, we need to do better. And to your point, right, I think it's been resting on your laurels for PlayStation. Hey, these are our franchises. This is what's been making us good, making us money. So we're just going to keep going with that. We don't need to push too much because Xbox is sucking right now, which Phil, Sarabon, respect you guys. But, we all know this, right? There's not much coming out of PlayStation Studios or Xbox Studios rather, right?
Mm-hmm.
Halo Infinite needs, needs some work. Hopefully Forza from turn 10 is going to be great, right? But overall, right, as you look at what the direction though under Jim Ryan has said, though, we talked about it. He killed off the Vita. He's the one that ultimately had to sign off on saying no more Vita store. And we know how much of that backlash that took, that happened, right? And whatnot, everything. And I think a lot of this happens to be part of, probably he was told, hey, you need either to retire or we're going to make you gone. And the reason I say that is because the Activision, how that all played out, right? With COD, right? You went from having a deal on the table for all Activision titles and COD to when everything's said and done, you only have a deal for COD. You don't have a deal for all the Activision games. And that, whether people want to admit it or not, that's still a big hit from what Activision actually does kind of put out.
So I want to kind of expand on that for both of you guys with talking about franchise and stuff. Do you feel that with franchises, it's more about the characters / story or the mechanics in the game that makes a franchise? So I bring that up because we have examples. We have huge examples here. Call of Duty, same freaking mechanics for the most part, always a different character. We have Uncharted that has the same mechanics, but it had Lost Legacy, completely different characters, same mechanic, same franchise,
but still.
Whereas we've got God of War is always the same character.
That's why I argue character and franchise, or character and story.
It's a
because no matter what in the franchises, because based on the first game, if it does well, the second game, the mechanics, all you can do is improve and give something new, give something somewhat fresh. That's the point of a sequel and a second game. You can't really innovate or make it a completely new game. Like, you have to stay within the story and the character.
And story limit a franchise rather than mechanics.
Well, yeah, Jason, but that's the point of what you're trying to say. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Jason?
Jay, where are you going?
So, I mean, it's a tough one to say. It just really depends on what market you're going for. Because take, for example, Final Fantasy. There is zero correlation between any Final Fantasy. Only the false. I mean, like there's like some correlation, but I mean, you have a
16 is
story
using 13's mechanics.
I mean, some get reused, some want to go back to the old school, some are new ones that good and miss, and
but they always change. For the most part, they change or they stick with the same one.
They always change literally everything. There's nothing except for literal sequels, 10-2, 13-2, etc., that have zero to do with the previous game. 7 has nothing to do with 8, so it's completely different. Uncharted, you have the whole story of one person.
Because it's established.
The life of the person, Yes, mechanics virtually are the same, stealth, boom, boom, pew, pew, different story. now you have Call of Duty, which is the 180 of it, where it's literally the same
zero
game.
story, pretty
zero
much.
zero story,
or a completely different story every single time.
Yeah,
like it's just small little differences in the gameplay, in the mechanics. So it just depends on which zone you're going for, because, and I always do this, and I always compare it with the companies. Sony story, single player,
Xbox
shooter,
Yeah.
multiplayer, Nintendo family. It always goes back to those three bases. And as long as you have like a good thing, like Mario Party wouldn't be a great game if you're playing it by yourself with computers. It'd be a terrible game. But the whole point is to play with other people's and like talk smack on other people, or or Mario Kart,
So a good case in point is God of War, right? So go from the first 3 games, which are hack and slash, but once again,
it got remastered. It got
redone, but redone, but as a separate other franchise, but with the same character, revamping the story. But from 2018, what happened? We got Ragnarok. So we got some differences in the mechanics and the fighting, all that. But the story and characters were still established, and that's what we fell in love with.
And I cared more about 2018 God of War than I did any of the others prior to that.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And no, because here's the thing: is
I understand that,
because
but
it was
I mean,
a mechanic, like from a mechanics and story perspective, it didn't connect with me. Just especially just from a button masher,
the
right?
first one connected with you story.
My side is that like,
but
what if you could continue a God of War franchise from another perspective with another character?
Well, they're doing that with Atreus, but it's going to be a Miles Morales type release.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, like,
Or
even if you
Legacy.
did one of the, what if you had a different version of God of War where you played Thor the entire time?
Oh,
that'd be an interesting perspective.
I think that would be fun.
I don't know.
But still, that's eliminating your main character, but you're sticking to the same mechanics.
Actually, Jason's got a point though. They did that.
People hated Last of Us 2 for it,
and they hated.
Like, do you
yeah, but at first, now look at the praise that it's getting at the dynamic, the dichotomy.
Only because it has a show
being
now.
both. But
Only
because it has a resurgence. But it took time for them to accept it.
But I think
overall, it has a show. If there was no show, it would still be like review bomb.
People were still. No, you're right. No, it did get resurgence from the show. No, you're right.
Yeah. So I think that like when you talk about like sequels like Final Fantasy, right? To Jason's point, right? Is for me, those games are about the story, regardless of what mechanics are being used, right? And like, for instance, a lot of people absolutely love 8, but hate the draw mechanics.
Oh my God.
The whole junction. Okay.
That is the worst.
And some people, hated on FF13 because it was linear up until you got to Grand Pulse. And I would argue to those same people who say, well, I love 16. I'm like, well, isn't 16 kind of the same? You're kind of linear, kind of. But ultimately, it's about the story. And it's, especially with Final Fantasy, among all else, from a sequel's perspective, it is about the story. And if those stories aren't good, people aren't going to keep coming back to those games, regardless if the mechanics change or not. Well, like if the story sucks, they're going to abandon it.
Weren't
so
successful
at
all.
I have to disagree. I still feel like mechanics hold heavier than story because it's the most interaction with the player is the mechanics.
I think the mechanics depending on the mechanics, it's
going to take away from your enjoyment of the game. Otherwise, if you're purely for a story, I personally feel like you're better off with a movie or a TV show.
I could tolerate 8 because I really enjoyed the story.
But did it hurt you? Did it hurt you to tolerate it?
No, it didn't. So,
okay.
So
maybe Crisis Core. Maybe Crisis Core.
Oh my God. Give me a Legend of Dragoon. Anyways, so I think ultimately back to what we were kind of talking about with Sony is like, I hope whoever's in the next leadership kind of, for me, I wish they go back to how it was under Sean Layden. Right, because even
just
back
learn
then,
from Jim Ryan's failures. Just learn from his failures.
just like Phil Spencer had to learn from Matrix failures with the Xbox One, right?
Yeah.
Because case in point, like look at what PlayStation Plus has become, right?
Yeah,
and
That's our. I mean, that's
it's
the
a
last,
reaction
like,
version of Game Pass, and it's shit right now.
Yes,
It's pure reaction.
That's the
You
last
think
stake
that's
in the
bad
coffin.
now?
For,
Wait till
yeah.
Portal comes out.
I
Oh
know.
my god!
Oh yeah, wait until Portal comes out.
oh my god.
It's gonna be the next iStand, bro.
And real quick, while we're on that, right? Let's just talk about how PlayStation Plus really is, because here's the free games for the month.
Castillo Protocol. Never heard
Callisto
of it.
Protocol?
Oh my
Are you
god, it's
kidding
games
me?
with gold, the PlayStation version.
Are you kidding me? No, the Callisto
Okay.
Protocol.
I've
down
never
for
heard of
that,
Callisto
bro. I am
Protocol.
Down.
Never heard of it.
But
Oh
Farming
my
Simulator,
God, you've heard of it. You just don't know that you've heard of it.
No,
it's
I'm
it's
pretty
a
sure I've
variant
never
of,
heard of it.
it's kind of like Dead Space. Just,
It came out around the time the remake of the remastered Dead Space came out,
Okay.
and it's almost just
but
kind of like it, but it's
Yeah.
fun.
but Weird West, Farming Simulator 2020 or
yeah, this
2022.
is games with gold.
It's a little weak. It's a little weak this month.
It is.
This
a
is
little
games
weak.
with gold.
But no,
the only thing missing is the
Callisto
MSRP.
Protocol, major title, bro. Major title.
No,
under the
Callisto's
radar.
a major title, dude. Yeah.
Under the radar. Underappreciated.
yeah,
Fair,
but
when you
but
have when you
still,
have a big game like Dead Space and then Callisto Protocol came out right about the same time, you're gonna compare apples to apples, bro. You are.
I also feel like this is one of the first months where all three games are both new gen and old and previous gen. Because usually there's really one PS5
point.
only.
Yeah,
True that,
or
true that.
one's
At least
like
one
a
of 'em.
straight either just download
PS4,
or it's
yeah.
PS4. Yeah, that's a good point.
So
All PS5.
this month is definitely a step back for PlayStation Plus.
I think it's
it's a
just a
weaker month.
plateau. It's a plateau.
Yeah, it's a weaker month.
Yeah, so it is weaker. It's like a.
So
it's like
I don't know about
5,
weaker. I think it's going to
10.
continue to get weak. I now have the theory that PlayStation is officially in Xbox's shadow because PlayStation Plus is becoming Game Pass.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
And what did happen with
It
Xbox?
looks like it.
Games with gold had to disappear with Game Pass. So now PlayStation Plus monthly games are going to disappear as it gets into more of a service.
it's not wrong.
I absolutely think you're correct.
Jesus.
But
I
the
think
thing is,
we're
like,
seeing
and
the
I think it's
precipice, the
funny.
inception of it. Like this is the beginning. Like watch, they're gonna slowly get
And I
crappier and
think-
crappier each month.
And I think what's
No, I
funnier
want to be
is
the
that-
old. I want to be the old grouchy fart that's just like I remember the day. I miss the
The good
days
old
when things were like
days.
this. Like I don't want change.
Remember when we only paid $60 a year?
Oh my god.
Which,
Those
dude,
were the days.
okay, so real quick on that, another thing that's under, falls under the tenure of Jim Ryan is that, remember we talked about when they were increasing the prices?
Yeah.
For PlayStation Plus.
Mhm.
The only way we really found out about it is because news broke. Okay.
Okay.
And IGN picked up Kotaku and everything like that, right? They didn't send out the email that said, hey, your subscription was coming out or is going to be raising prices until after they already raised the prices.
Oh, that's
wow.
dirty a little bit.
Yeah. Because
That's a
I
matter
got,
of timing with people's subscriptions. Like I still have time to cancel
I-
mine.
or you had time to go buy up and get more out of
Or-
it. Right.
Or at least like think about it.
Yeah, I think there's like somebody. There was a post about it. Somebody bought like I think 27 years of PlayStation Plus before it went up. And he's
That's
like,
hilarious.
yeah, like I was like, wow, that's kind of dedicated, but smart move. Smart move. It's a bold move, Cotton.
Bold move, Cotton.
That's a bold move.
Chicken
Cotton.
ways or no one. Chicken ways or no one.
So just real quick, just to show you this, here's the email. This came in on 9/7. So this was after the news had already broke, it was happening. And they're just like straight up, we want to let you know it's changing.
Wow.
It will not affect go into effect the next renewal November 6th. However, any membership changes you make prior to your next renewal, such as upgrades, downgrades, whatever, will update your plan based on the new prices. They sent this out after they made those announcements. and
I
changes.
also give them kudos for corporate ninjutsu by not supplying you what your current amount was or your previous amount was, only the new one.
Yep,
Yeah.
correct. So you want to talk about something, the directions for Sony, right? Under Jim Ryan, not great.
Jeez.
Right.
Makes me
So
sad. Makes me sad.
yeah.
Or hopeful. He's gone. We'll
Yeah. And
see
hopefully
where
things change.
where they're going.
I know that means they need to go downstairs to my brother-in-law's PlayStation, download all my game saves, because I can tell you right now, I'm not going to have a new PS5 before then. Right. It's something I haven't told everyone. Like, I know I've told you guys, right? But I had to get rid of my PlayStation to take care of some bills, especially around when I was getting my echocardiogram and stuff like that. So for me,
Okay.
taking my health and taking care of bills and stuff at that point was way more important than having a console that at the point I was predominantly on my Switch anyway. So I was like, hey, let's go ahead and just take care of it, give myself a little bit of breathing room and whatnot. So I can tell you right now, I'm not going to have a new PS5 by November. Right. So I'm gonna have to go get those save files and whatnot, because otherwise they're all lost to the void. I mean, heck, the only reason I have the Xbox Series X is because I did all access. It's $35 a month. That's super manageable versus going and dropping down $400 or $500, right? And saying, here you go. So
since we're talking PlayStation 5, and I'm going to sidetrack just a little bit. And we're talking about emails. I got an email from one of the top PC water cooling companies, EK. They just announced their monoblock for water cooling a PlayStation 5.
Oh
what?
but I go preface this. This is the most horrible thing I've ever heard of. Like, it's a great idea, but the way they're going about it is awful. So you have to completely disassemble your entire PS5, take out the sole PCB and put it in the monoblock, and that's it. You cannot use the PS5 until you put it into a computer case, and also have a power supply, have your connections and everything. It's purely just a monoblock. It's not a full housing or anything. And the price for it for pre-order is $450.
Oh my God.
Yes, sir.
It's the price for a PlayStation to keep one PlayStation.
Yeah. So
it's so ridiculous.
I will. So it'll be interesting to see where PlayStation goes from this. I think they need to. Yeah.
Greenlit. And get ready. We're gonna make some money.
Yeah.
Wait. Essentially, it's what?
So
it's a whole new. Oh.
Yeah.
Greenlit. Anyway. People won't buy it.
Yep.
I don't get it.
Oh, Theo, check your mail, by the way.
I did. I grabbed them already. Thank you.
Cool.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I hope Sony takes this and runs with it and looks at the feedback that definitely exploded online when everyone found out that Jim was leaving, because like Jerry stated at the top of the show, it was very, very much ding dong, the witch is dead. Like, it was like celebrating online. And that was like, normally when you see an executive leaving, it's sadness, right? When we found out that Reggie was leaving Nintendo, it was sadness because we didn't know where that was going, because, Iwata had passed away. Now Reggie, the other big predominant force behind the Switch, was leaving. Now, granted, Doug Bowser stepped in and he has run the company amazingly in the same vision that was Reggie and Iwata. So it's, we saw sadness when Sean Layden left. We saw sadness when Andrew House left and Jack Trenton, like all the prior PlayStation executives left. But we're seeing celebration that somebody's leaving. And that's not good. That shows you where your image is,
sign.
Right? That's a sign, right? If it's any one of those things where it's like Bill Engvall, here's your sign. So we'll see where PlayStation goes from here. Hopefully it's a lot better. So with that, let's talking about games. Jason, what you been playing?
What have I been playing? I started up 16 a week ago or so. And right now just been kind of catching up on shows a little bit, trying to
Ooh, what you catching up on?
So my wife she started up Sex Education on Netflix.
Oh, nice. I heard that was
show
good.
is hilarious. So I've been watching that. I've been trying to finish off Legend of Korra because I've never fully finished it. I've missed like bits and pieces here and there.
Okay,
So,
okay.
like just do the full.
But you've seen the end before.
I'm
right?
not actually. I stopped.
Oh, you haven't seen the end?
Yeah, I think I stopped on book 2 when it was coming out. And I was like, okay. And then I just totally forgot all about it. Life.
Sadly, there are only 2 books.
Well, no, like the.
No, I know.
The
but there are only 2
chapters
books
or whatever. Yeah. But
no, you had to write books. It's books. Yeah. You're good.
Yeah, because I know there's like 4 books in Korra. I think.
No, there's only 2 books.
Is it?
Yeah, second book, Spirit.
But yeah, so I've been doing that, and then I read up a little bit of Alice in Borderland, the retake. So you know how they are. Yeah, Theo, you know how they're like kind of rumoring if there's going to be another season of Alice in Borderlands.
Yeah, even though they finished the manga.
Yeah. So there is actually a secondary part after with Usagi and Alice.
Sweet.
So I'll text you about it. I read it, and it's actually it's okay. It's okay. Like, it has potential. It's kind of like not as dark, not as deep, but it's got potential if they're
because I mean they gave full closure on it, so
yeah. But you know how like the whole Netflix thing, since we're talking about it earlier, they're like, oh, like we need more of this. We need more of this. So like,
See now, Matt, you never took a chance yet, or if for Borderlands, right?
No, not yet.
Okay, and Jerry,
I am currently watching through.
I need to finish second season.
Ooh, how do you like How to Get Away with Murder? I started the first episode. And I was kind of iffy about it.
It's good. It gets frustrating at some points because it does some flashback mechanics. Like it'll tell something, and then it'll be like, hey, 3 weeks earlier, and tell that on how like things led up to it. So that part's a little frustrating, but it is great to just randomly have Mallory Lowe showing up in an episode, and you're like, hey, look, like. It was one of those things like I didn't even have to know it was her. I heard her voice. Like I'd been looking down and heard her voice pop up. I'm like, oh, it's Mallory. I like it. I mean, we're season 3 right now, I think it is. So I mean it's good so far. It's not like the best by any means, but yeah.
But Jerry, you need to watch season 2.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna finish it. I'm catching up on a lot of stuff. I finished One Punch. Both seasons.
So
I'm on smartphone.
You.
I restarted season 2. I'm on smartphone. That's it. Yeah.
Nice.
So, Theo, besides Animal Crossing, what's your
Animal Crossing? I mean, this is I really like doing this. Like every Tuesday, it makes it a nice ritual to break it out at the very least. I haven't been playing too much. I played some Destiny 2 a little bit the past couple of days. Broke out my Titan. I haven't played my Titan for a little while. Other than that, not really anything. I'm still looking forward to Spider-Man 2 coming out, so that one should be fun.
Yeah.
I should break out Spider-Man 1 and just get familiar with the mechanics again, but because I suck at swinging,
bro.
I suck at swinging.
Well, games nowadays have a tutorial that's like 5 days long. Like,
and they're using a flight system now. Like they're using the flight, the wingsuit. So like the swing mechanics may not really mean much.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, like tutorials nowadays, like it's like 5 hours.
So I did see. Did you pay off? Did you just pay off your house tonight?
I did just pay off my house tonight.
Oh, sick.
Nice.
The 3rd room. I only have the back room. I think I just got the left room. Now I need the right, and then basement, whatever,
and upstairs.
Yep.
Matt, what do you play?
Got a
while. Usual crack. I just made $140,000 on.
Hey, you got your money back, getting your cash back.
I need to.
That bankroll's getting up.
Built more bridges.
Nice.
I did redo part of my island again.
Sweet.
I moved my farm and orchards over to one side of the island because I expanded out my mountain to give more of a little bit of a river. And now I have a log bridge going over that river up in the mountains. So you can climb up the vines, get to it, climb it over and whatnot. Built a movie theater out by my museum. So I kind of have like an IMAX theater out there now, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah. And put in some other things. Place for all my Lily of the Valleys that I keep getting. So,
oh, speaking of museum, maybe you guys can help me because words are hard. And we were talking about this with my parents earlier. Words are so hard, dude. So hard. What is the name of the building where like you go to see the stars in the building? Like
Planetarium.
It's like on the planetarium. Thank you. Oh my God. I don't know why we couldn't think of that. Oh, okay.
It's planetarium.
Or technically in LA, the Getty. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's that. I did start a little bit of Halo 2.
Oh, okay.
Talking about a game, story matters, but the mechanics, they up the level of mechanics, right? Because they introduced dual wielding and stuff in that one. And then Final Fantasy 13.
Nice. Cool.
I just got Shiva for Snow.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
So I have my first Eidolon. I love that. I love that game so much. And honestly, like, it looks good up-resed on the Series X. I'm not gonna lie on that one. It looks pretty. Like, it's still not graphically great in any way because it was a 360 game, you know, and a PS3 game, but it still looks pretty darn good on the Series X. So but yeah, been pretty much just Animal Crossing and FF13.
Sweet.
Sick, dude. Jerry
rather.
I've been diving. Well, let's see. I finished Mario 3D finally.
Oh, okay.
Still diving into Tears. That's like my long game. I'm gonna be playing that for a while. I take my time on that one. I'm still periodically diving into Cyberpunk. I am gonna get the expansion.
DLC?
I'm gonna get the DLC soon. Although I'm gonna wait because Thursday Assassin's Creed Mirage comes out. So I've been waiting for that. And I dusted off Titanfall 2.
Wow, that's random.
Yeah, just random. I saw it in my collection. Like,
dude, I was thinking about that.
One of our monthly games we got for free. I'm like, dude, it's been a while since, like, Titan 2 was good.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the rare times the sequel was better than the first.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, it, like, remember, dude, it's fun. It's still
I was thinking
fun.
about that, Jerry. I thought about dusting off Titanfall 2.
Dude, it's still good.
That,
like, the weapons, like the mechanics, the jumping and like everything. It's a lot of fun. So I'm having fun with that until tomorrow night.
Until tomorrow.
Yeah. So
Mirage comes out.
Yeah. So with that, I want to, thank everyone for crashing game night with us tonight. Apologize that Mo in reality couldn't actually make it tonight. We will just make sure to give him a whole lot of crap when we do.
It's all right. We'll get you guys.
That's all right. I mean, we definitely went off the rails. I don't think they would have gotten a word in.
Yeah. But no, congratulations once again to the writers. Well deserved, and all the heart, and all the sacrifices you had to do. So I hope the actor strike comes to a close very soon too, because I know even some of our friends, right? I've been checking in with them, and they're starting to get to that point where things are going to start becoming hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Even for as big as they are, right? And some of them thankfully are still doing voiceovers, and they're still getting paychecks coming in that way, but not as much as they would if they were live acting. So but if you like what you heard, please drop us a follow on the platform of your choice. Head over to crashinggamenight.com, where we have all of our platforms over there. And guys, just with everything, just please be excellent to each other.
That's right, everybody. Once again, my lovely and amazing nerds, let's promote the same message. We're going to throw it again out there. Let's just try and be a little better. Let's do better. Let's try and have a little bit more patience, a little bit more kindness in our hearts, and let's try and project that out there. let's just overall just try and do better, because once again, we've made some strides with the writer's strike. Thank God. Let's hope the actors will get just the same, if not better, results as well. But also just in general, let's just try and be better out there, because it's still a little crazy. It's still still feels hostile. Still feels tense.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
let's just continue. Let's just try and be open. Let's try and listen. And yeah, guys, let's just try and do better and be better. Thank you, guys. J-Bone.
Yo.
Yo.
As always, yes, please stay safe out there. Please, if you get a Powerball ticket that wins, remember
share.
it's Crashing Game Night.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah. CrashingGameNight.com. Donations are appreciated.
But yo, it's good luck to everybody out there. I know I'm going to be playing it for a little bit. It's 1.2 billion. I mean, come on, man. Why not?
Hey, man.
Why not? Takes one time.
1.2 billion.
Only.
I might have to go play that.
I know, right? I'm like, yo, it's $20. Yeah, why not? $20, play once. You can't win if you don't play.
Yeah.
But
Right.
just like everything else, be nice to each other. Like Jerry said, be careful out there. It is Halloween season. It is getting colder. It is, like we're in
getting to that
spooky
flu
time.
and cold season. Yeah.
We're in that
Yeah.
spooky time. The cold and flus are right around the corner. So
Yep.
please get your flu
Oh
shots.
yeah, I need to get my
you
flu
know?
shot.
Get
And
your
my
flu
booster.
shots.
Gotta
Get
get
your
my
boosters. Get all
COVID-19
your
Yeah, COVID
immune
boosters should have been
systems.
approved. So
Yeah, get all your immunities up, because we're gonna come around to Thanksgiving, and then right after Thanksgiving
Yeah.
is Black Friday, baby. You
That's
get
right.
that Assassin's
Black
Creed
Friday, baby.
Mirage.
That's
Yep.
right.
I'm
so
gonna see Jerry out there, be like, "Yo, where you at, bro?"
That's right. We're
but-
gonna hit the Best Buy together, baby.
Yes, sir. But definitely just be careful out there. Have fun, stay safe. But as always, like we always close this out with my man, Theo Walski. Send us out like you do.
Well, all right, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Till next time, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.
good night, everybody.
Yo,
See ya. Wouldn't
Hey,
want to
Theo,
be
like,
ya.
cut down one of my trees right now.
Oh, these are my trees.
He's on his island, sir.
This is my tree.
Hands off my island.